trained medical professionals to handle HAE cases in the ER, as well as issues with the government in terms of they are not yet in a position to reimburse for medicines for HAE. So when I joined HAI, I only knew that I was one in the entire continent. But with time, I was able to discover more patients and more physicians in the area, in my area, and we were able to hold our patient and physician meeting in South Africa last year, as well as holding the first HAE African Doctors Physicians meeting in Kenya.
My name is Rashad. I'm from Lebanon. Recently, I'm an RPA for the Gulf region and the Arab region as well. This region, it's been poor in terms of HAE diagnosis, and the number of patients were not really identified for HAI. One of the biggest challenges that we are facing it in our region is that the medication is not available. There's no right medication, but we are working hard now to get it in within the countries and to get it registered.
Mamy okazję uczestniczyć w 4. Narodowej Konferencji HAE, będącej jednocześnie drugą międzynarodową konferencją HAE regionu Europy Środkowo-Wschodniej.
And as you can see, we have, I think it's roughly 150 people from throughout the region that are enthusiastically participating in this very, very important meeting where we're learning about hereditary angioedema from the top scientists, physicians in the world, and also talking about advocacy issues, what we can do in our regions to make things better and provide our patient community with a better quality of life.
I'm really surprised how many people, how many patients from so many different countries could be engaged to come to Warsaw and to stay here together and to have interchange in between each others. I think that's a great chance for the patients to get the latest news about HAE, how to treat it, how to diagnose it. I think that's really important, and I wish all the best for 2018.
This event is growing. It's a very important event for the whole Central European and Eastern European community. The importance of these meetings are significant. There's no doubt about it. We are really happy to be here and also have it as an HAI CE workshop.
Well, this event has been amazing. I think it's been very well organized. It's really wonderful to see people getting together with hereditary angioedema as, of course, a rare condition. So a lot of people don't have a chance to interact and discuss the condition and their concerns and issues with others. So just to see the exchange between people, the camaraderie, and also the educational sessions, I think are really valuable. So I think these sorts of things are really fantastic for the community.
Participating in this event has been fantastic, just to hear all the different countries, 12 countries represented, and advocating, empowering each other collectively, and the connections are highly valuable.
Wydaje się, że jeżeli ktoś już był na kilku konferencjach, no to wydaje się, że już wiemy wszystko. Tymczasem na każdej dowiadujemy się czegoś nowego.
It's really important to improve awareness of society in general. So I think that we have to continue with these sessions or seminars or conferences. So it's really important for everyone.
Uważam, że powinny się rzeczywiście poruszać takie tematy, bo jest nas niewielka ilość osób z takim schorzeniem, więc powinniśmy tworzyć właśnie tak, jak tutaj widzę, właśnie fajna atmosfera, taka rodzinna, można by powiedzieć. Także inaczej się człowiek czuje, jest naprawdę dużo pewniej z tą chorobą, którą no niestety mamy.
Yeah. Good morning, everyone. Did you enjoy the coffee break? Yes? Did you have enough coffee? No, not good. You know, guys, I think Tony Castaldo and Henrik Balle-Boysen are incredibly smart people because they deliberately put this session after the coffee break. And the reason for that, and also the reason why I'm speaking first, is that I'm such a boring presenter that without the coffee you will just fall asleep. So it's very exciting to be in Vienna for the global conference. This is my third global conference, and I have a pleasure and privilege to introduce you Central European and Eastern countries region, which is very challenging place. You can see the map. Some of the numbers are a bit out of date because they are the numbers from our latest conference that took place last year. And it's currently composed of 12 countries. So, of course, we have Belarus, the Czech Republic, we have Estonia, we have Hungary, we have Latvia, Lithuania, Moldova, Poland, Russia, Slovakia, Ukraine, and Kazakhstan. This gives us a population of these 12 countries, a population of 290 million people. And can you imagine, guys, that there is even more countries, and the population of the whole CE is approximately 350, 360 million people. So far, the number of diagnosed patients from this population is 13%. We have 87% of the patients undiagnosed. So, many challenges, but on the other hand, so many opportunities. So we keep working strongly to extend our presence in Central and Eastern Europe and to provide our patients' community a better quality of life. Also, what is very complex is that the part of this region is out of the European Union. And bigger number of the population is out of the European Union. And the complexity of the legal requirements for the drug registrations and for potential clinical trials make some additional limitations. And that's why also this region is very, very challenging. I would like to tell you a bit about my home country, Poland. And we have a patients organization that was established in October 2005. So we are 13 years old. And we called ourselves Swelling Beautifully. Yes, yeah, absolutely, I agree. To have your hands swollen, your face swollen, it's not beautiful, absolutely. But we are, back then when we create those names, we didn't have access to any modern HAE treatment. And because we are beautiful people and we make beautiful things, we called ourselves Swelling Beautifully. We have a great physician in Poland. The estimated numbers of patients is approximately 1,270, and 420 is diagnosed. We have 5 physicians with approximately 20 years of experience in HAE, and around 20-something with 5 years of experience keep extending their knowledge. And those are amazing, amazing people who knows what the patient's advocacy is all about. We have one national clinical HAE center in the city of Kraków, and additional 10-12 sites around Poland where patients would likely be diagnosed and receive the treatment. Of course, correct diagnosis is a problem, as everywhere it is. We have access to the modern treatment since 2013. So we have on-demand treatment of C1 inhibitor, plasma-derived C1 inhibitor, recombinant C1 inhibitor, and icatibant, but with limitations only to severe laryngeal attacks and abdominal attacks. And of course, we have androgens, danazol, tranexamic acids, and fresh frozen plasma. So the awareness among the healthcare professionals, among the society, among the basically population about HAE is very poor, but significantly increased since 2013 among especially our HAE experts and patients ourselves. And ladies and gentlemen, I have a privilege to represent this region. And today I invited to this stage remarkable people with great history, with passion, with heart. Ooh. And now I would like to give the floor to wonderful Olena Mikal from Kiev, Ukraine.
Thank you. Thank you, Michal. First time we met with Michal, it was, the secret is it was 15 years ago, I guess, or even more. And at that time, Poland didn't have association, Ukraine also didn't have association, but Poland was much faster. And only in 2017, in March, Ukraine could finally legally make association of HAE patients. And it took us some time, as you can see, almost, I would say, 13, 14 years. But we are happy that finally we established it, and now we have 36 members of the organization. Yet Ukraine is a big country, and plus minus, depending on what is the ratio of the patients, we should have around 1,000 HAE patients in Ukraine. And luckily, and we are very happy, we have 4 specialists, 4 doctors who are involved in HAE and who patient can see, and the doctors can say, okay, you have the symptoms of HAE or no, because we even didn't have a doctor before. And we are lucky that we have one center in Kiev that deals with HAE, and the doctor that is there and that devotes her time to HAE patients on the all Ukrainian scale. Yet, the problem is that in Ukraine we still don't have a laboratory that can make C1 functional and qualitative, and so the test is very expensive to make, and it's not covered by insurance. So the patients who have symptoms, they pay their own money to the laboratory, and the test is made in Germany. It's not made in Ukraine. So the blood is transported by airplane to Germany, and then in Germany the blood test is made, and then there is a confirmed or non-confirmed diagnosis. Another way is to bring in thermos blood via the border personally to Poland or to Belarus, and to wait for 1-2 months, hopefully, and then to get the result from Polish and Ukrainian, and Belarusian doctors to wait for the diagnosis. And this is the situation now, and unfortunately, in terms of the laboratory and testing, I don't see that it should improve in the nearest 2-5 years. And we are more optimistic about getting treatment for established people, for the patients with established diagnosis, though treatment now is aminocapronate, tranexamic acid, danazol, and fresh frozen plasma, but only for adults, because it's not allowed to use fresh frozen plasma for children, for kids. Don't ask me the logic behind it. It's Ministry of Health of Ukraine. They know better, maybe something that we don't know. But this is really a dead wall now for kids. And this is what we are now discussing with the doctors who are involved with the HE and with the Ministry of Health. And in general, the awareness about HE in Ukraine is 1 out of 10, just to make it very brief. The good thing and the bad thing, but it's rare disease, and that's why there is not that much attention to rare diseases in Ukraine as such. So there is a lot of challenges ahead.
Thank you very much, Olena. Absolutely. Olena has been doing such a great work in Ukraine, standing for the patients and the physicians community. And another extraordinary human being, a friend of mine from Grodno in Belarus, Viktor Lebec.
Hello. Good afternoon, my dear HE family. I'm a patient myself. I'm also son of a patient, brother of a patient, cousin of a patient, and the father of a patient, so 100%. I'm very proud to be here with you. I'm very proud to be one of you, and I'm excited to share with you some brief and I hope interesting details about Belarus. So, as you see on the slide, our national organization was registered just a few months ago. This is true, but what the slide doesn't show is that the HE community in Belarus is about 11 years old. And the website, hereditary-angioedema.org, was probably the first Russian language website appeared in the internet. It happened 9 years ago in 2009, and this website is related to Russian-speaking language and is all about HE. And this is because of this website I met Henrik in 2011. It would be also curious to know that the Russian version of the Wikipedia page has also Belarusian roots. I created it in 2012, prior to International HE Day, May 16th, and prior to the first International HE Conference in Copenhagen. So, as you see from these few examples, Belarusian community is pretty mature and active, and all these numbers on the slide, they haven't popped up rapidly through a few recent months. They evolved gradually with the assistance of the HE community in Belarus.
Thank you, Victor, for this overview. And maybe we can now focus on successes and challenges. And we go back to Olena. If you could share with us successes we have had in Ukraine.
Yes, success was last year. We had the General Assembly meeting. It was not like here, 736 participants. It was much smaller. We were around 40, but finally we met, and it was a very touching moment because we talked about the disease. The doctors were with us, and it was patient-doctor community meeting, which was very important, and there were lots of ideas, you know, lots of things that people on their own can't decide, can't solve. But what was most important is that it was the feeling that the patients are not alone, that they are together, and together they are the force, they are something that can make the difference for their lives. And it was a very important moment, and I consider it the biggest success that was ever. And of course, we gave the diaries, and of course, we gave the passport of the patient that already had the result. When patients went on ER treatment, they showed the passport that they have HE, and at least the doctor from ER was contacting the HE doctor, you know, asking, okay, what should I do? How do I do it? And just to give you my personal experience, we had a patient with a laryngeal attack, and like the doctors didn't want to transfuse fresh frozen plasma, so I was very fast. I brought expired vial of Berinert, and I was begging the doctor to infuse it and the doctor looked at me as if I'm crazy, because imagine 6-year-old expired vial of Berinert, and me asking, and the med is not registered at all. But it was the blessing that the doctor said, okay, I believe you, and the doctor on the phone said, please do what she says. And we saved in this way the life of the patient. But it can't be always like that, unfortunately, and that's why we are working, and you know, this is success, and this is the challenge ahead, to make it normal and usual and registered and on everyday basis.
I have heard so many touching stories from Olena, breaking my heart, absolutely. But tell us about the challenges, Olena, because this is also something you've been working on.
The challenges, maybe I will surprise you now, but the biggest challenge for me was, after this success that finally we met and we made this community of HE patients, we have closed Facebook group and we have Viber account. The patients, they went back to themselves. This is what Sarah mentioned in her speech, that we need more active patients. We need more awareness from their side about their disease, about our disease, and how to move the things on. Because it's not possible to make everything 2 or 3 people. And this is the biggest challenge that I fight now, because the organization is made. There are the things that are given by the HEI, you know, website, support, registry, everything. But still, I need the support from the HE patients, and this is one of the biggest challenges for me. And because of this, I can't get, I think, much bigger results, much faster with the medication, with the access to the medication, because when the patient's active, then the Ministry of Health reacts faster. And this is a vicious circle, and this is the biggest challenge.
That's why we are here, stronger together.
Yes, yes, yes.
Stronger together, ladies and gentlemen. Is it correct, Victor? Stronger together?
Yeah, Belarus is very close in this political situation and the basement. This is also former USSR Republic, so yeah, I agree. That's true, and we have the same challenges, I would say. They are not unique, they are rather common. Diagnosis, about 80% of HE patients in Belarus are still seeking for their diagnosis, and they suffer. And the treatment, access to the effective medicine is not available in Belarus. And the diagnosis, I would say, is gradually improving. I see it on the results. So we're okay. We can do all the blood tests. Our physicians fully support us, and we're blessed by our doctors. It's true. But what is happening with the access to the effective medication is weird. First, none of the effective HE medicine is registered in Belarus, but in the official rules for treatment of HE in pediatric patients, we have a recombinant C1 inhibitor recommended for acute treatment. None medicine is registered, but one is recommended. Funny. Then we had a few conversations with pharmaceutical companies, including some the sponsors of this beautiful summit, and we received positive feedback, not a promise, but a willingness to come and solve the issue and make the registration and medicine available. So this is good. On the other hand, we have a verbal okay from our Ministry of Health that they would pay. They have budget for a few dozens of doses for pediatric patients. And they said that they even organized, how we name it, tenders for medicine supply. But for some reason they said none of pharmaceutical companies would want to participate. We don't know why. Maybe simply because they didn't know about the tenders. And from patients' and physicians' view, this is far from our understanding. And we will take some new initiatives here. And I would really like if some of you would have some suggestions to me. I would glad to talk.
What about the successes, Victor?
What about successes? Yeah, as I said, there was no national patients organization until last year. But from 2010, we were part of wide primary immune deficiency association, the largest part, HE patients. And we act together as we saw more sense to act together in a small country. And it worked in the very beginning, but later we understood that we simply have different problems, different issues with other immune deficiency diseases. And we were stuck. And we needed fresh air, a magic push, an inspiration. And we received some from HEI and personally from, I'm proud to say, my friend Michal Rutkowski, Vice President of HEI. And with his inspiration, we had a beautiful first National HE Summit in Belarus in June last year and started the registration procedure and successfully completed it in November. This year in April, we had HE-related session in an international conference of immune deficiency diseases in Minsk, and we had their presentations from Professor Henrietta Farkas from Hungary, from Professor Maniuszka from Poland, and from Michal Rutkowski from HEI. It was a nice event, and also, again, a new meeting with patients. And yeah, we are just setting up our brand new organization and try to use our new advantages wisely. But what I see already, I already see some benefits we have, and these are not only the increased number of travel grants to the conference and not a voting ability on the global assembly, but first of all, we become more visible as patients for those who make decisions in Belarus, and we're looking forward to use our advantages wisely. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Victor. Well, I need to ask you guys a very important question, but difficult. If you could briefly answer that question. Olena, what does take control of HAE mean to you?
Well, it's a synergy of several things. One of them is complete awareness of the situation, and then understanding what to do and what steps to make to control HAE.
To control?
Yeah, to say it briefly.
To feel happy?
Definitely.
Healthy?
And confident.
And independent?
And confident, of course, and independent, yes.
Is that correct, ladies and gentlemen? Yeah? Yes. Victor, what does it mean for you?
It's very personal. I think it's every patient should know for him or herself. For many of us, it means an independent and being happy in life. But for some patients, I realize that it means they don't want to know about, they want to forget about their rare genetic disease and just live normal life, having the effective medications always with them. That's it.
Okay. So because the time, yes, absolutely. Thank you, Victor. Because time flies, I will have the last two requests to the audience. The first one is I'm asking all the people here in the room from Central and Eastern European countries, regardless you are a patient, a caregiver, a physician, a scientific person, please stand up. Please stand up. Everyone. Look at your left, look at your right, backwards. Remarkable, beautiful people I work with. Amazing people. Olena, Victor, Istvan, Henrietta, Zoli, Camelia. Where is Camelia? Yes, Camelia. Iveta. Where is Iveta? Right here, yes, here you are. Perfect, perfect. Elena Bezbožnaja, Rasia. Where is Elena? Yes, here you. Yes, these people gives me motivation and inspiration. So, ladies and gentlemen, once again, please, great applause for these people.
Just go forward. Thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, I am part of the HAEI team, and one of the roles I have is it's a huge pleasure and privilege to be able to help support our different regional patient advocates in the work that they do every day. And we met Natasha and we met Maria this morning, we've met Mikhail, and I'm delighted to be the person that will be chatting to Patricia and to Rashad. And first of all, we will start with Patricia.
So my name...
It's all right, keep going.
Okay, sorry. So my name is Patricia Karani. I am the regional patient advocate for the sub-Saharan region, and we are the baby in the group here because it was started last year at approximately this time, and yes, I'm glad to be here.
It's wonderful. It's wonderful to have you here. I know you joined us in Madrid and you gave us a little talk about Kenya, but to be able to have you here as a regional patient advocate is just marvelous. We're looking forward to hearing a little bit more about your successes and challenges, but if you could tell us a little bit more about Sub-Saharan Africa, that would be great.
Okay, so the region, Sub-Saharan Africa, has approximately 49 countries. Of which we have been able to identify 2 member organizations. One is in South Africa and one is in Kenya, where I come from. And currently, HAE work is continuing in 5 other countries. And you remember from last year, I came and from Madrid 2 years ago. I came and I stood here and I said I was only one person. I only knew I was by myself, but I'm glad to say that we were able to identify patients in South Africa, and I'm so pleased to have them here in this conference, and they're seated right there. If they could just please stand up, I really appreciate, yeah. I mean, it's a wonderful group, and I am so privileged to be working with them. So my region, according to the population statistics, there's a probability of about 35,000 HAE patients, and so far we have been able to identify only 71 patients, and there are other 6 suspected cases in 2 other countries in the sub-Saharan region. When we talk about the physicians who are, we don't have HAE specialists as per se, but we have doctors and physicians who are knowledgeable about HAE and can conduct HAE tests and diagnosis. So these are about 6 in number. So we have about 4 in South Africa, we have 1 in Kenya, and there's also one other doctor who specializes in HAE, and he's from Namibia. So we also have 29 other new doctors who were trained this year, and I'm glad to say that they were trained. That was one of the successes in the region, which I'll talk about later. And in terms of the treatment centers, we don't have HAE, what do you call them? HAE treatment centers as per se, but specialist centers. But what we have is treatment, like clinical or care centers, whereby you can go and you find a doctor who is knowledgeable about HAE, who can treat you, and those are about 3 in number. So 2 of them are in South Africa, and 1 is in Kenya. So in terms of diagnosis, diagnosis is still a challenge in the region because of the cost of conducting a comprehensive test of C1 and C4 inhibitor. But in most countries, you find that they're able to test for C4. However, the cost for a person who has, let's say, a low-income person, they still cannot afford to do the basic test of C4. So there are quite a few challenges in terms of diagnostics, but we're still working on it. And there are also no clinical guidelines still established in the region, and we hope that will happen soon. So the doctors who are trained in HAE, what they do is they use the global HAE guidelines to be able to diagnose these patients and find out about the treatments and the medications. So in the region, we normally, most of the patients use, for prophylactic treatment, they use danazol, and for acute treatment in case of an attack, we are using fresh frozen plasma. In one country, they use the incubitant injection, as well as currently, I'm glad to say that the Global Access Program has given us access to Ruconest in South Africa, which is a wonderful development. And in terms of the levels of awareness and knowledge, I would still say they're very low, especially amongst the physicians and as well as the general public. That means that HAE patients actually still don't know what they are suffering from. So I would say it's about 1:10 if I was to give a ratio in terms of the knowledge of HAE in the region.
Thank you, Patricia. So we've talked a lot, and lots of different countries have the same challenges around levels of HAE awareness and modern medications being available. But one thing that we've talked about is around the government priority, and that there is no government priority in many of the countries because their focus is elsewhere. And I wondered if you might just be able to say a few words about that before we come on to talk about your successes.
Okay, so most of the, in sub-Saharan Africa, the governments focus on infectious diseases and non-communicable diseases like cancer. So they never have any resources or a slot for rare conditions, rare diseases in general. And that is a challenge that we are trying to face and try to engage with ministries of different governments and try and make them aware that these rare diseases, there are people, if we were to look at the statistics of just rare diseases, it's actually about 1:10. Yeah, so that is a significant number, and these are significant people. So that ideology for the government is still a challenge that we still need to fight and bring more awareness about.
One of the points that you made there was around engagement, and we're talking today about taking control. And engaging is one way to be able to take control. And one of the first successes that we were talking about is engagement and engaging with doctors. Could you tell us a little bit about the first meeting that took place in Kenya?
Yeah, so what I discovered in the region is that you have to tackle the issue from different angles. And I discovered that because these patients don't know what they have, and these are the doctors who are diagnosing them, then I need to approach the doctors. So we were able to have the first HAE African Doctors Seminar that was done this year in Kenya. And it came about because of one doctor whom I identified, and he was willing to listen to me and take up my case after so many years of looking for a doctor. And he was able to guide me and to just give me the support. And the story is that this doctor was able to, he's a diabetologist, so he had no idea about HAE, but it had reached a point where when you go from one doctor to the other, you're left with any doctor. So that is where I was. And I was saying, I don't care whether I get a gynecologist, he's a doctor, we are going with him. So I got a diabetologist, and he's an awesome guy, and thanks to the US HAEA as member organization, they were able to sponsor him to go to San Diego, the US HAEA Angioedema Center, and he got training for 2 weeks. And he came back fired up, and he had all this material, and it was no longer me telling him what is, yeah.
I think that we would all agree that it just takes one. You just
one.
need to find that one person. And
It doesn't matter who it is. I didn't care which doctor it was just one doctor. Oh yeah, and he came back with all this material from Dr. Zuro and Dr. Kristen and Mark Riddell, who did an awesome job with him, and he came with all this material, and I was like, we need to do the first training for doctors. And we were able to do that, and I'm so glad that we were able to come up with 29 doctors, pediatricians, allergy immunologists, rheumatologists, surgeons, because of what we have to go through at times when it reaches the laryngeal attacks. And they sat down and they discussed and they tried to get solutions as to what can work for us with the resources that we have. And it was a wonderful discussion. I felt so empowered and so encouraged, but it only took one doctor. So this is what we came up with.
That's
and that
fantastic.
Is a great success.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Yeah. So Mikhail had mentioned earlier that we run a little short on time. I think we'd all love for our conference to last a week because I know there's so much more we've all got to say. Patricia, if it's okay, I can move on to Rashad. Is that all right? So that we make sure that we've got some time to hear about what Rashad has been up to. Rashad, please tell us about Middle East, Gulf and India.
Before telling you this, I just want to say that first, I'm so glad being a patient.
Okay.
Really.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I'm not, I will not see all these people over here, and I will not be having the biggest family in the world from all over the world.
Yes.
From east to west.
Well said, Rashad.
Talking a little bit about my region, I'm representing the Middle East and the Gulf and India. Currently, we are around like 240 patients identified within the region, like around 100 patients in Iran, 100 in KSA as well, and 40 like in from all the other countries. Usually we have specific things in our countries because most of the population are not national, are expertise. So the population and the number of patients, it cannot be done based on kind of formula or something like that. There is around 10 clinical trained medical doctors like in all the countries. So in all the countries there is doctors who really know how to work and deal with HAE patients. And the medication, the modern medication is registered in 2 countries. In Qatar, recently in Qatar, just has been done in January 2018, just this year, and in KSA before. Regarding the, in the other countries, we have the androgens only. so we don't have like access, proper access to modern medication. However, in Dubai, since around 4 years, we got it, but based on patient. So it will be ordered just for patient names. We are facing some issues in the diagnosis due to the less awareness from the patient as well as the doctors. Not all the doctors, they are aware about HAE. And some patients, they've been like, they consider themselves they have allergy or something like that. So this is one of the things that we are having some problem about that.
So you mentioned some of the problems.
Yes,
one of the
exactly.
things we've talked about that I've not heard from other countries or regional patient advocates mentioned is you have a specific definition, I guess, within the countries within your region of nationals and citizens.
Exactly.
Could you tell us a little more?
In our region, there is more expertise than nationals. Like, for example, in Dubai, just maybe 10% are nationals. And the way that's been treated is completely different because the nationals, they are covered by the government. So Ministry of Health take care of it. The time that the citizens who are not nationals, they are having insurance from their company. And the insurance is vary from a company to another. So what applied to me, it may not apply to another patient. That if the modern, if C1 inhibitor S3 has been covered from my insurance, it's not mandatory to be covered by another insurance. So this is one of the things that we are facing it, like some challenges that we are facing it. However, the national directly, they can get any kind of medications directly from their government hospital, which is we cannot go to it as well. And if we went to the government hospital, it will not be covered by our insurance. So we should go to private hospitals. This is one of the some issues. The pharmaceutical companies, they are supporting, but not as efficient as it should be. Like we are having shortage now. It's been like almost six months that we are not having medication. It's out of stock. And
I think we've heard other people talk about supply problems. And
yeah, it seems the same issue
might be coming through.
Yeah, exactly.
Hopefully the situation will change.
Exactly. Yeah. And this things is really affecting the life quality for the patients identified. And like, for example, we used to have a medication. Once you used to have the medication, it's very difficult to have it, to take it out from you. It's not like if you never had it and you are okay with that, but once you have it, it's difficult to take it out from you.
So you mentioned in the overview that you had more than 10 clinically trained medical doctors that support HAI.
Yeah.
And we have put together that one of the biggest successes that you've had is bringing the doctors together.
Exactly. We did many regional meetings. Like we did in Qatar, we did in Dubai, we did like 2 in Dubai as well, and we did like focus meeting. It was in Dubai with only some specific doctors who represent all the countries in the region. So yes, we did well into this. However, all what we need now is the pharmaceutical support because we are ready. Just all what we need is the medication.
And Elena talked about a situation where it's great when you can bring people together, but sometimes after the meeting, the motivation wanes a little. You have mentioned
this is one of the biggest challenges that I have.
It's a great success to bring people together.
Yeah. Because you need to keep following up, and once you grab them together, it will be like you feel like they are too positive and too like they want to do something. And once like
I think we all know that feeling. I think we're feeling that here and now. We're right there.
Exactly. This is the thing that we are facing it, but we are crossing over this, and hopefully we are going better because we start as me in the region, and with only my doctor, we are now 13 patients. Before it was only me. So yeah, we are coming better. Yeah.
Well done. And I think one of the things that you do so well in order to help people keep HAE top of mind is awareness raising. You're like a one-man crusade. So we just have a couple of pictures, and there might be a video, not that we can show now, but we definitely have a video of Rashad that you could come and see later. You can see what he's been up to.
This session, by the way, it wasn't in my company. I got tired explaining to everyone about the swelling in my hand or in my feet. So I said, come on, let's grab everyone and start talking about it. And it was really nice. And I found out that one of my colleagues, his sister had the disease and she didn't know about it. So it was good about it. Yeah. And the other one, I got participated in a TV show in Dubai. It was really amazing. It was a physical and mental challenge, and we reached the final, and we achieved like to win 9 episodes from 12, which was great. And after that, when they knew that I have such disease and I'm participating in such extreme sports challenges, national news, the Emirates News, the national, they decided to do an interview with me, explaining about the disease and just talk about it. They give me an opportunity, a good platform, by the way, to talk about this. And it's been like shared more than 500 times on the internet. And from this post, I got like 6 calls, patients that they said, oh, I have this. So, and I direct them to my doctors.
That's fantastic.
So it was good, yeah.
Brilliant, well done. So I think my last question, and Mikhail, you posed this question to Olena and Victor, that what does taking control of HAE mean to you?
For me, going to a big, long trip without even thinking that I may have an attack.
Well said, well said. And Patricia, what does taking control of HAE mean to you?
Taking control of HAE means that I have to be feel like I'm empowered, and that there is positivity out there, despite the fact that there's all this negativity that surrounds the condition. And the way I take control of mine is that I bring in all these positive aspects and just sweep out the negative, so that then I am able to know that I am of value, that I deserve to be alive, I deserve to live a normal life, and just be, what I would say, a little bit crazy, but in a good way, because there's so many brick walls that you meet with, and you just have to take that mallet and hit that wall until it is down.
Well said. Wonderful. So everybody, please, a huge round of applause for Mikhail, Olena, Victor, Rashad and Patricia.